everybody? Welcome back. Once again, it is time for our next week of blog of the dev blog of Midas Mode 2. Sorry, I'm getting the chat here. Yes, I can read the chat now. Fantastic. Hello and welcome to the dev blog. Yes, recorded live. So, guys, welcome. Last week, what did we learn? So, again, part of this dev blog is for us to come together, do AMAs, show you guys the whole process of building this tournament so that potentially you could do it one day yourself. And I learned a lot from the last update. Now, it is important, after our first announcement, that now we start getting in the heart of the tournament. What is this tournament's heart and soul? What does it do? What is the purpose of it existing? What is our main goal? And this is very important. I know it sounds stupid, but as a creative, when you're working on something, be it a small YouTube video or even like, you know, a multi-$1,000 project for the international, you have to decide what the point of it is. And you have to stay true to that vision because you can get lost in the sauce, as I call it. And this is one of my personal biggest weaknesses, is I get lost in the sauce. I get excited about the prospect of something. I start expanding on different things about it. I get a little too many things going on at once because I'm naturally passionate about things that I'm passionate about. And we get a little away from the main target goal. So, we did say this in Midas Mode 2. I got pretty excited about that tournament in the prospects of a custom map, and we had way too many things going on. We had the VR Roshan, where audience members could go in and play as Roshan, and he had a bunch of special effects. We had crazy economy for picking heroes, banning heroes. We had the creep takeover. We had bounties. We had in-game advertising. We had changing characters in the Dota client based on people fundraising. We had big numbers, yes, and that was a lot going on. So you can still have a lot of fun in your tournament or your content or whatever you're doing, but you have to decide what the heart and soul of it is, and then iterate on that heart and soul as much as humanly possible. And then after that's done, then you can have fun. You have to have check marks. Now, again, it's been 5 years since I've run a Midas Mode, my own tournament, and I have learned a lot. And one of those things is check marks. Make sure that you are completing things one step at a time. It's complete, and then go on to your next project. Because if you have a billion things and they're all 80% done, and then you combine them all together, well, then it's shit. Even though 80% of it is really good, it's still shit. It's better to have a good, completed segment of a project, 100% that you love and you're proud of, than present something that's 70 or 80% done, but has a lot of really good ideas. So, let's get into it. What is the heart and soul of Midas Mode 3? Well, I believe that I want to make a tournament that has a dynamic narrative where people are invested in the tournament itself. People are inherently invested in it in a way that they feel like they are impacting the tournament. I want viewers to feel just as impactful or impacted as the players. That is the heart and soul. So, last week, we talked a little bit about that in the announcement video of Midas Mode 3 and what we wanted to, how we wanted to achieve that. One of the biggest ways that I want people to feel invested is to align with a house. Now, the goal is, in case you missed the last episode, I don't know why you're watching this one, is that we're going to have about 12 teams. They're playing in this tournament. Each one of them is like a Game of Thrones house. And then your fans, people that align with you at the beginning of the tournament, they will help you make decisions. They will vote on things. They will, you know, I don't know. We have a bunch of different ways that we can do it, and I don't want to spoil too much. But they will actively be in your house. So we will have a Discord where you will join, I don't know, Gork's house Discord. When he is in game drafting, he can hear the community. He will talk to you. That is the goal. That is his house. You guys are in it together. You're actually helping each other to win this prize. Because at the end of the tournament, the viewer of that house will win just as much as the house wins. Players in this tournament are just paid per game. They don't get the prize pool. We pay them per win. We pay them less for a loss, but they are just paid to show up. Doesn't matter to them. What really matters is the viewer and maybe the guy in charge of the house. So in this system, I tried to determine what I thought would bring the most investment. Because some people are inherently going to be invested because it's fun and it's funny, and other people might want something. So I thought, can we do merchandise? Merchandise is tough. Shipping is insane. Dota's a worldwide game, and it's no fun to say, oh, only US people can get this shipping, so sorry, everyone else in the world. You've cut out 90% of the people in the world. So, no. Shipping is a pain in the ass. You buy a $10 shirt, I have to pay $40 to ship it to you. So that's out. Digital goods is tough. Let's say, for example, okay, buy Steam gift cards. Okay. So Purge's house has 30 people in it. Gork's house has 100,000 people in it. How many Steam gift cards do I buy? If Gork wins, I had to buy a lot more than if Purge wins. If Purge wins, everybody gets $10. If Gork wins, everyone gets 3 cents. Piece of shit. That is so complicated. That's insane. So digital goods are really hard because the onus falls upon me to track down every single member of that house and pay them out. And then not only that, but just figure out how many things I need to buy. If it's just Dota sets, how many Dota sets do I need to buy? That's crazy. So, I don't know. Digital goods are, of course, in the realm of possibility. But that's that. Then there was an idea of potentially sponsors per house. Like, let's say I got SteelSeries to sponsor the tournament, and they're sponsoring Purge's house. And they agree. Everyone that signs on to Purge's house gets a mouse from SteelSeries for free. Emailed to them. Sounds nice on paper, but again, we run into that issue. What if Purge gets 100,000 people? How do we make sure that each one of those people is a real person, not a bot? Make sure that they sign up correctly. Make sure that we have their contact information. I mean, Valve has issues with this, with the Aegises from the Battle Pass, and they have all your information. They have your phone number. They have your Steam account. They have your address. They have your billing info, and they still have trouble getting these things out. So the fact that little old me could do it, I'm not quite sure. So the easiest thing I could imagine, the only way that I could imagine that we could give fans any kind of actual reward for watching is straight up money. That's the only way that you could do it, I think. Because there are money-moving services that are very common. You have like Robinhood, which you can trade stocks. You have Cash App, transfer money. You got PayPal. A lot of different money-moving services. And these guys do all the hard work. They check if you're over 18. They make sure that your government laws are in order. They can do all that. And the mafia, of course. So, I don't know. I think that would be the only way that you could do it. Now, I shared this last week, which is why we're bringing it up. And I was pretty surprised. Most people thought that this was not possible. I'd say about 75 to 80% of people thought that this was just something that couldn't happen. I think it could happen. I think it's pretty easy. You sign up to a website that transfers money, give them your information, pay $1. Dollar goes in the prize pool of the tournament. And if you win, they pay you out. It's like they've got this shit figured out, I think. They're all about moving money, so I'm not sure. Is it legal? I also don't know. We'll find out too. But yeah, a lot of legal stuff potentially. And then let's get through this one. Betting companies. Could a betting company do this? Absolutely. This would be the easiest thing in the world for a betting company to do because they already have all these rules and regulations. Betting not too popular in Dota right now. I will remind you guys, Midas Mode 2 did have Betway as a title sponsor. But that was before everybody else really was into betting. So I wouldn't say it's my fault that betting got into Dota. Please don't take it that way. They were already very popular. But, I mean, I don't know. There's just not a lot of non-endemic sponsors in Dota these days. I think most... we'll save this for the sponsorship video. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. But short and sweet, I was surprised that most people, 70% thought that this wasn't possible. I'd say about 20% thought it was cool. And then 10% just didn't like the idea. They thought that fans should not get anything. Fans should not be invested at all. That's stupid. That's weird. That's gambling. So I wouldn't say, I guess I would say surprised, but I was a little taken aback. So, yeah. I mean, I get it. Gambling is hot topic. Getting things for just watching is a hot topic. But I was surprised that they thought that no viewer should get anything that makes people too invested. Something to consider, something to think about. So the whole point isn't to pay people money. The whole point is to make people super excited and invested in their house. It's to make them passionate about being part of the team. And if somehow we can figure out how to do that where everybody is happy, that's really cool. And that's what I'd really like to do. So, I don't know. If that is like, God, listen, the world has changed a lot, all right? But I'm going to do an example. Don't be mad at me. But when I started streaming, when I started my whole journey, I did a Kickstarter to raise money for a power cord for my PC. And I gave away pictures of my pug as Dota heroes to people that did it. And I only made so many. And they got to keep the picture. And I made NFTs before anyone made NFTs, okay? They were just pictures of pugs. But I'll give them to you now. They hold zero worth to me. I'm not sure. I just want people to feel like they want their team to win. And a lot of people will want their teams to win because it's fun. But I just wish I could think of something to give people where they're really excited. Like, oh my God, we could win this thing if people get in there. So I'm not sure. We'll find out. But anyway, the point of the tournament is to make it where fans are invested in the teams, so much so that they feel like they're a part of the team. And that's the real goal. And then, another part of it, not just for getting something, because that is motivating people that are extrinsically motivated. I don't want to do something unless I get something. There's people that are intrinsically motivated. They want to do something because they think it'll be fun and cool and an interesting experience because it will grow them as people. So how do we satisfy those people? And I think that the goal of that is to have this really, really fun, interactive story. So that is, I believe, what we're going to talk about today. The heart and soul of Midas Mode 3 and the story, the aspects, because we need this baseline so that we can iterate upon it and make it really improve it. So, what should we do here? The general idea is that each one of our houses will exist. Oh, this is going to look terrible. Oh, God, I'm sorry, guys. Each one of our houses will exist on the Tourney plane. Now, this is the DOTA map, and I've talked to the guy who made this map. You might have seen him on Reddit and stuff, and he's part of the project. What we're going to try to do is to make this map Stop it! We're going to make this map badass. Stop! Stop! Windows 10! Stop! I don't want it to be on a different thing. Thank you. So we're going to try to make this DOTA map real. Now, what I want to do is to have each one of our houses play around this map. And when they're facing the upper bracket finals, for example, why did I make this a new window? When they're making, God damn it, fuck. Now, if they're in their upper bracket match, maybe they're playing at Dark Reef Prison. And then they're playing upper bracket 2 is in the Frozen Realm. Upper bracket 4 is at White Spire. Lower bracket. Each one of these map locations is different. And it has different effects to them and fun. That's another thing, too. On our 3 things I want to do with this Midas Mode 2. 3, excuse me. Make the viewers as invested as the players. And then have a lot of wacky fun. And that is something that I think we got away from in Midas Mode 2 a bit. It was very fun for people there live, but when it came to... things started getting more serious as the tournament went on because some people wanted to win it a lot more than other people, you know? OG didn't give a shit if they won or not. Whereas the streamer team with Waga and Gork and stuff really cared if they won. So try-harding and stuff like that, it left a sour taste in, I think, the viewers and the players' mouths a bit, where they were like, okay, these guys are just picking the most broken heroes and shit. So I want to increase fun, and I want to increase the random aspect of it, and have people be excited to see every series, you know? So this is hopefully going to happen with dynamic maps. What I want to do is have the viewers choose where these battles happen based on what they think is best for their army. In case you guys forgot, Banner Lords, as I call them, each have special abilities, right? So they're going to have one special ability that they can do every series, and that one special ability will dictate how things, play out. And maybe their audience will have discussions about where the army should go, where their next battle should be to make that special ability even better. For example, let's say that Dendi has a team and, Pudge is a free pick. No matter what, they get Pudge. No one else can pick Pudge against Dendi. He just gets Pudge if he wants him. Well, maybe in the, the ghastly Eyrie of Skywrath's home, there's a lot more vision on the map, and everyone has flying vision. Everyone has wings or whatever. Completely broken, but just an example. So maybe Dendi's team always wants to fight at the ghastly Eyrie because it's, great for them. They have a lot of vision, a lot of good hooks, easy peasy. I'm not sure. It sounds like a fun way to do it, and it sounds like tiny little changes that would be really exciting for every single series. Maybe you want to tune in just because the map effect is super funny and you want to see how people deal with it, or maybe there's strategy to it. It's a new thing that I think is a very easy change. Now, that's one thing a lot of people are saying. This sounds insane. I don't know if you can do any of this stuff. For me, custom map is pretty cool because it's not that hard, I don't think. So here's an example. All I want to do is take the normal Dota 2 map and then use already existing map skins, like the Underground, the Immortal Gardens, the Desert, and then apply, map effects to these as well, where all this is already in the game client. We're not making a new game. We're just adding this together and then adding funny little changes. So again, one of the examples I gave before is in the Succulent Wastes, there's sandstorms that are going around the map, and if they go over your characters, everybody turns into a blob, and friendly fire is turned on, and then we mute your comms. So would be pretty funny, I think, to have ridiculous map effects. Because again, this is when it comes to balance, one of the things I think we can be the stupidest about. I think people will get upset if you give one team a buff over another, but in maps, both teams are experiencing the buffs and the positives and negatives. So I think that would be really funny, and we can go absolutely bonkers with these crazy map effects per region. We'll see. But yeah, I think people will be really invested not only in the teams, but they'll be like, oh shit, today's Swamp Day, right? That's my hope, at least. With the swamp being every time somebody kills a jungle creep, a Venomancer ult goes off or something randomly. I think that would be funny in a way to bring viewers in. It's also fun for production because we could build assets around Swamp Day. We're having upper bracket. Let's be fully swamped out and stuff. But it's also the story of where people go. Because again, I do want this to be like Game of Thrones. I want every single person that's playing to have a house, and they have powers that reflect that house. And those powers might be better in their hometown of the Night Silver Woods, but then go really bad when they go down to the Bronze Empire and White Spire, And I want people to control where this journey goes. Now, this brings us to another big question. What is the heart and soul of the tournament? What is the shape of it? What's the bracket? What kind of tournament is this? So, this is tough. It's tough in a number of ways. Because it's a very unique tournament. So, yeah, let's see. I mean, the original idea was double elimination bracket, right? Uppers and lowers, and then if you eliminate somebody, they're out, and then you move towards the capital, and then you win. So, that made sense, but here's the problems. For one, is commitment to the fans. I've got it. I did it. Mission accomplished. The fans are committed to their teams. They want them to win. They show up on day one, so excited. They show up on day two, and their team is eliminated. What now? I have made them very invested in the tournament. I made them invested in their house, and now the fun's over. That's not good. In fact, I think if I make people invested in this tournament and then their team is knocked out, this is actually a double negative because they might be upset at the tournament and boycott the rest of it. Whereas in a normal Dota tournament, you would keep watching. Arteezy got knocked out. Shame. love our tour, but who wins? On this one, you might actually get angry because your team got knocked out because not only were you invested, but you also would have won something if they got knocked out. So I'm trying to think of a esports system where we can still have a lot of representation from the teams, have punishments for those for losses, but pseudo keep them in for a bit. And story-wise, let's say that somebody's knocked out, much like Game of Thrones. If maybe your army's knocked out and you're dead, your character is still alive. Maybe they form an alliance. Maybe all your fans suit up with another team. I don't know. This stuff is all still pre-planned. But I think the way that we're going to do it is, I believe it's called a GLS format. But I think the best thing to do is to have 3 teams fighting 2 teams? 2, 3, whatever the math goes. Maybe it's 3? I don't remember. But whatever, it adds up to 12. I think it's like 3 groups fighting in one secular place. GSL format. Yes, something like that. So, 3, 4. That's right. So 3 teams, 3 groups of 4. So let's say that the Northeast, we have somebody from the Clad Isles, Kunkka's home, the Vale of Augury, which I don't remember. Oh, wait. That's Dream Protector. We have somebody from the Frozen Realm, and then we have Dark Reef. Those 4 guys fight to the death, moving across their home turfs, and then the winner of that will move over to the Rue lands, where he fights off against these 4, and then the winner of that will move over here. That sounds fun. That's a lot of games. And again, it allows for this like capital city thing. Like, let's say, through the grace of God, I get Sing Sing, and he's in the Night Silver Woods representing Marana in the Dark Moon Order. And this, has a buff for him. On his home turf game, he has an advantage. And then on this guy's home turf game, he has an advantage. But when they both play at the Frozen Realm, they don't. So, sounds fun. I think that would be great and something that would get people very invested. But I also think that allowing the fans to dictate where the battles take place and even buffing or nerfing their teams based on activations that we can do somehow, like voting in a surprise event or something like that. Yeah, that's the general idea. So I think a GLSL format gives us a lot of games. It gives us individual battles in different places, which then we can move. It also keeps production really easy. I believe in that system, you could just have Night Silver Woods Day. That's it. We don't have to change the studio. We don't have to change that much. It's just Night Silver Wood Day, then that. So, tournament brackets I'm really bad at. I'm horrible at. Really, really stupid. So we'll see if I have any better ideas on that one, but that's the general consensus on that. Again, this is not like a normal Dota tournament. I don't think there will be panels. I think that at the beginning of the day, I'll have the Banner Lords come together, discuss, talk shit, make alliances. In between games, I'll let people mingle, talk about alliances, maybe try to get some help in between game 1 and game 2, talk about shit. At the end of the game, maybe there's like a mini game or something that the fans play, and if they do it correctly, then their team gets buffed or something. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of discussion about the games besides just like, I don't know, a narrator's voice? Like, in the battle of the Clatish Isles, Pyrian Flax's army fell to... Like, seems good enough for me. I don't know what's really to establish here from... because every game is played by mercenaries that are hired, and these mercenaries are random, and then, in fact, they could play for another team. Well, not random, they have to buy them. But, I don't think we have a lot of downtime in this tournament. In fact, I don't think we have a lot of draft time in this tournament. I think most of this tournament is going to be, like, story building, watching games, seeing who the mercenaries are for the day, seeing the effects, seeing the place that they play, and then just letting the games happen. So, should be interesting. But I'm not sure. But yeah. So, again, I think our goals are to give back to the fans, to make sure that all of it is fun and interesting, and you want to tune in not just to watch the Dota, but to watch the entire story. And then I guess what would point 3 be? For it to work, I think we have to move really early. Again, I'm thinking about having this in April or July. That's a lot of work. We have to do this custom map. I know that we're being smart about it, and we're only using current existing map effects, but we still have to add the fun stuff. Not to mention the Mercenary system. The Bannerlord system. All those systems need to be in play and working. And tested, because we want to go as big as possible. So, really got to start now. But there's so many fun ideas for what we could do in between games because it's not a traditional tournament. I've had a few ideas. For example, let's say that, like, these teams, Northern Pine, Clad Isles, Vale of Augury, and the Dark Reef, these 4 are fighting, and they're trying to decide where they go. Why don't we just have them play Overthrow? Right? Put those guys in the arena and the 2 survivors go head to head. Or 1v1 mids. Or even they could select champions from their fan bases to fight. And then these dynamically have effects on where they go and what they do. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. We want Nahaz. No comment on that one. No comment. No comment on my boy Nahaz. I love you, Nahaz. Nahaz designed, quote-unquote, designed the system for Midas Mode 2. That one did not work out too well. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. That one did not go too well. We had to go big numbers at the end. So, yeah, a lot to think about. But the heart and soul of the tournament is, I believe that. And there's so much work to be done on not only designing the maps, but designing the system where the fans are invested, and then designing the fun stuff in between the tournament and all that. But we have to do that stuff now, because guess what? There is a ticking timer, my friends. This is week 1, as I will call it, of our blogs. In 2 weeks, we need to start finding sponsors. We need to have our shit together and let sponsors know exactly what they get out of this tournament, what perks they get, and build this tournament around sponsors. Because that's the best way to do it. You can make a product, you can make a tournament, and then say, hey, here's the thing I made. Would you like your name to be associated with it? That's some basic bitch shit, you know? That's like slapping Mercedes on a Dota game and being like, I'm sure someone will buy a car. They saw our logo. That's a really stupid way to do it. If you want to have a good sponsor, if you want to have good sponsor relations, if you want to do what nobody does in esports, it's help build the product around the sponsor early. So I want to lock in sponsors in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I want them to know that they're going to get value out of it. And I want to build the tournament around the things that they want. If somebody wants people to visit their website, I need to think of how sponsoring my tournament gets them to visit their website. Stuff like that. Everybody has an issue. I have to figure out how to solve it in the terms of this. So I don't know. But yeah, should be good. Mercedes, I mean, if Mercedes sponsored, I wouldn't put their fucking logo up there, okay? Mercedes sponsored, we would have one of the teams playing in a bus. A Mercedes bus, driving around the country, stopping by and seeing fans. Yeah, we have to think of how we can integrate sponsorships in a way that actually gets them their goals besides just having their names out there, which is a difficult process. It's something that we have to start out early. And it depends on who's the sponsor. What do they want? So we'll figure that out soon. But suffice it to say, establishing the heart and soul of the tournament is most important. Also, next week, it's about time to be starting to lock in our people, our talent. You might be thinking this is pretty early, but not for this tournament. For this tournament, of course, we have a lot of unique things that are happening that have a lot of moving parts. So if I want to, have a list of people that I think are really good and build this tournament around them, I'm going to need to work my butt off deciding who these guys are and what they're going to do and all that jazz. So I need to start poking people's interest, seeing if they're excited to be part of it, and then building the tournament around them, their house, their design, their powers, all that shit. So I'm not sure. We'll see who wants to be part of it, and that'll probably be next week, is identifying who we want to be part of the tournament and then asking them. Because you guys don't understand. Okay. We need 12 Banner Lords. So, at least, I have an idea that it would be really fun to have duos as well. Like, Sunsfan and Jenkins would be super funny and good, because they would banter off each other really well. So, we need at least 12, probably 16-ish Banner Lords. For each day, we need 5v5 players, but we need our Banner Lords to have variety in who they decide to pick. So I would imagine we need up to 15 to 18 available players per day, potentially per series. Let's say that Kuroki decides, I will give you 3 hours of my life, but I won't give you a full day. Okay, I can deal with that. So the Mercenary board will have to update in between series, and at 2 series a day, we could potentially be looking at like 32 individual people on standby a day. That's a lot of fucking people, dude. That is a lot of people. So, and I will remind you that the pro players in Midas mode, Banner Lords, will be worth just straight up gold. You pay gold, you get a mercenary. But the non-pro players, like, I don't know, if you picked a talent, like Too Good or something, they have to have special abilities that buff up you picking them because they're not worth having on your team. This is a very serious thing. Every game matters. So if your choice is between Miracle and Too Good, you need to have a good fucking buff. So we have to figure that out. I have to think about all these mercenaries now because we have to physically design these buffs and test them and iterate for point number 3, make sure this shit works. So I have to think about all of Dota 2's history from the beginning of it to now. And any relevant name in Dota 2's history is somebody that I have to reach out to. Not only that, but people that aren't part of Dota that play Dota. Like if I could get a big streamer that likes playing Dota, but they don't stream it, and I could get them on this tournament, that's great for the Dota community. I mean, Valve's tried this with like Jeremy Lin and other shit, but I don't know, man. Can you imagine if we got like Asmongold to come on and play a game of Dota in this tournament? Like, that's straight advertisement for the game as a whole. Isn't that sick? Like, if we can reach out to non-endemic Dota people and have them pop up on the board, we can reach outside of Dota's niche community and maybe grow the game itself. So it would be so cool to reach out to people and see if they just play one series, and they don't have to be good. I will buff them enough where that they will still be a valuable pick. Imagine if you picked Gaben and your team just got 3,000 gold at the start of the game. He's terrible. The whole game he picked Sand King, but you still got 3K at the beginning of the game. You know? So this is the plan where anyone that's even tangentially related to Dota in any way could be part of this tournament because they have very broken buffs depending on how much experience they have with Dota. So that's the goal. Is I want to advertise Dota. I want to grow Dota to audiences that don't know about it in a very fun and interesting way. I need a big fucking list. I need a big list now so I can but that will be next week. Next week we'll talk about talent. We'll talk about the trials, the tribulations, getting people ready for that big list. And yeah. So I guess I will do it for this week. I know that this is not any hard information yet, but we're still really early in the process and we're crunching it. But again, if you guys have any ideas, please send me an email at siractionslacks@gmail.com. If you liked any of the things that I said, if you have any ideas for things that I can fix any of the problems so far, please let me know. We will have dedicated episodes for every single one of these ideas, and these are going to get a lot more soaked in. I think next episode will be talent. Episode after that will be sponsors. Episode after that will be probably the maps and Bannerlord abilities. We're going to keep zooming in on this stuff until eventually the week comes where it happens. And this is a project I do want to grow with you, very dedicated people watching live and on YouTube. So if you don't like something that I've said, if you think it's stupid, if you think it won't work, tell me now. I'd love the feedback. If you want to work on this and you have skills that you think would help with Midas Mode 2, let me know. I will have to pay you, though, so no freebies, no free workers here. So I'll have to figure that out. If you know any sponsors, if you know anyone that you think this would be interesting to, let me know too. I'm ready for anything. I read all the YouTube comments on these blogs. I read all the emails, and I'll be getting to those for those that sent them last week, this weekend. So, all right, that will do it for the recorded segment. Time for the AMA at the end. Chat, do you have any questions? What's going on? How's your day? It's good. Thank you. Good AMA, guys. We'll see you guys later. The email, what's the email? siractionslacks@gmail.com. Yeah, that's the one. Shoot it over there. What stops a player from disregarding his house's opinion altogether for winning? Wouldn't it be better to pay the same win or loss, but in the middle of both? So, what do you mean by that? A player from disregarding his house's opinion for the purpose of winning. The Dota games are the Dota games. Once we're in the client, they're playing Dota to win. There's no anything else. I mean, there might be okay. But when a player's in the game, they want to be winning. And trust me, this system is designed around Dota Pro players. I find that when I'm making content, when I'm making stupid things, I design it around what pros want. And what pros want is to have a competitive environment and to leave. I don't know why they want to leave. They just want to go play more pubs on their PC. It's the exact same thing, but they don't want to be there anymore. You go to any fucking tournament, it's the grand finals, the winning teams in the back, and they're just like, yeah, I just want to go back to my hotel. I'm like, okay. But, no, when it comes to the games itself, they are there to win, to play, and to have good Dota. And that's why I want to have a system where we're paying them per victory. Because it is going to be a goofier mode than usual, right? There's going to be weird mercenary effects. There's going to be weird map effects. There's going to be weird other stuff. And I think some players thrive in this kind of environment. You know, anybody from like old OG, like Seb, No-Tail, Jerax, these guys are fucking memers. They love this shit. They love going in there. But there's some players out there that do not like funny, stupid shit. And they just want to play. Or maybe they have stupid, funny shit and they'll do it, but only for a little bit. So, but they still want to win. Nobody out there wants to do anything stupid and like lose on purpose. So, yeah, I want to try to keep it solid, and I don't think they'd have any incentive not to win, unless another house was paying them or some backstabbing. But we'll get into that. All right. Any other questions? Bring back Mott. Good idea. It's a good idea. I got from players want to win and are financially incentivized to do so. Correct. However, they're part of a house. No. My friend, you're confused. So each house consists of a banner lord, which is the leader of the house, and the viewers. The viewers sign on at the beginning of the tournament and say, I'm Team PFlax. You are aligned with Team PFlax. PFlax draws power from his viewers doing things. The players are mercenaries. That's where Midas mode comes in. So at the start of the tournament, at the start of the day, you will have a mercenary wall where each one of the available players for the banner lords to choose from is available, but they cost money depending on how well they've been performing in the tournament, how good they are. Or they will even give you money, or they will give you cool effects because they're dog shit at Dota. That is the point. So Midas mode, everyone is going to start off with cash, and it's how well can you spend your funds on your players versus how far do you want to make it into the tournament. So should be interesting. So yes, once you're hired as a mercenary, you have no allegiance to your house. You're there to win. That's it. You don't give a shit about Pyrion's house. You're a mercenary. You've been paid for a job. Go win. So that's how that works. Crazy discount codes. Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. That's really good for sponsorship stuff. I think that would work. I think that, again, this is probably going to be left for the sponsor video, which will be in 2 weeks from now. But a general idea is that I need a title sponsor. I need someone that's going to make a prize pool where people, because I have to pay the players. So that money has to come from somewhere. The mercenaries need to be paid. So there needs to be a prize pool of X amount of dollars so that I can go to Arteezy and say, Arteezy, if you play one BO3, I will give you $300 or whatever. This is necessary, so necessary for getting anyone to do anything. And some players are just going to laugh at that and say, go fuck yourself. Other players will say, don't pay me. I want to have fun. So there still needs to be a fund. There needs to be a fund to pay the players, the people working on it, production. I need a title sponsor. But when it comes to houses, there is a world where every house could have a sponsor. We could have State Farm with Superior Flax. We could have Steel Series with Purge. And each one of these could have a specific targeted way where they do cool things with the fans. So, yeah, that's definitely a goal. And shit, if it gets down to like we have 3 sponsors, a title sponsor and 2 other ones, it could be a 6v6 on like aligned houses. Could be cool. So I'll find out. Great question. Thank you, SVG Dota. Thank you. All right, are you accepting suggestions for non-pro mercs right now? We'll definitely be doing that next week. Next week, we're going to do talent. So, yes, next week. But if you have ideas now, shoot them now, and I'll get a list together for next week. The U.S. military, non-endemic sponsor. Oh, wait, they're sponsoring ESL now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Sponsors in esports. Sponsors in esports are rough. You don't want a betting company or an NFT. It's rough. You got to put your legwork in. But I am the kind of guy that will do that. Let us not forget that we did have NASA sponsor Midas Mode before. We had Malware Bites, Alien Piss Vape Juice. I will go out there to people that have never heard of esports, and I will do my best. So we will see. Will there be buffs only or debuffs too? Great question. So the current system that I want to implement, and we'll talk about this probably in like 4 weeks, is how do we motivate our players to backstab each other? This is important because they're playing in a virtual idea world, right? The stakes need to be high for them. They need to have incentive because everybody wants to be a good person. Everybody wants to like shake hands, especially because they have fans. So if I'm, House Suns fan and I'm up against House Gork, I don't want to betray Gork. His fans will fucking hate me. But I need to create ways to incentivize people to backstab each other. I need to create ways for them to play the game. So, yes, I think that in addition to each Bannerlord having a buff, they will also have what I call a boon. Boons can be given, they're special powers that are given to their allies. And they don't know if they actually have the boon until they hit a button. So let's say that Purge's big brain allows you to have, double XP for 1 minute. You press the button before a big team fight and nothing happens. Purge betrayed you in this game because he wants you kicked out, but he pretended like he formed an alliance with you. I thought it'd be funny. So we'll see. All right. Let's see what's next. Okay. Poker has money. Poker is a game. We could make it work. We can make anything work. We gotta fund it somehow. Trainwreck said that he likes Dota, and maybe you can get him to join the tourney, and he has connections to Stake. Anything that's outside of Dota, I'll take anything. Anything to get advertising for this game on the wide scale. If we can get one stream with one big streamer coming in, a Ludwig and playing one series of Dota, he gets to stream it, he puts it on his YouTube, we get to have him. That's great for the game. It's great advertising. All right. Let's see. Biden. Yeah, I'll ping Biden on Twitter. I'll DM him. My restaurant management software company wants to sponsor a gaming tournament. I hope so. Let me know. Get Doritos. These are not questions. Okay. Any other questions, guys? People, Prisoner's Dilemma. Yes, working on it. You need to win a certain amount of spaces on the map. Would attaching buffs, debuffs to location make it something you would consider? Yes, that's the idea. That's the idea, is that every part of the map has buffs and debuffs or something, and it's a unique place where some teams will be better suited to fight on their home turf. But I don't think they're capturing. I think it is still a Dota tournament where it's like upper bracket, lower bracket, seeded into elimination. And then when a team is out, they're out. I think that having it be like round robin is kind of boring. I think the fact that an army is dead, Stannis was defeated, his army is dead, his people are dead, that's cool. Maybe you're right, though. Maybe like a round robin is just who conquered the most territory. Could be a fun way to do it. Because then everyone's still in it. In fact, people could make alliances. It's a pretty fucking good idea, pal. It's a pretty good idea. Whoever has the biggest kingdom goes head to head. Pretty good idea. What's the finals look like for that, though? Just adding up who conquered what? Pretty lame. I'll think about that, though. That's interesting. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Thumpa Therbra, if I steal that idea, I just credited you. Thank you. Okay. Mott sponsorship. Yeah, I wish. It's going to be better than Shanghai Major. I hope so. NFL to sponsor a team. Sure, I'll work on it. Yes. So fan engagement is going to be both passive and active. Great question, Dupe. I think that this is a very hard topic because you don't want it to be a popularity contest. You don't want Gork's stream to have a massive buff over, I don't know, Sheep's team or whatever. Fan base should have a effect, but it shouldn't be a popularity contest. So the good ways to do this would be, I think, like summoning a champion from their house to fight another champion in like an artifact game or something, right? Or if you guys have played Slay the Spire, like in between matches, something comes up and it's like a man in a hooded cloak. And you have to, he says, please, do you have any money? Can you give me 100 of your gold? And then chat votes yay or nay. And then if they voted yay, it ended up being Eternal Envy. And he's like, hee, thank you. And then he plays he's a forced mercenary on your team. Shit like that. I do think that putting the fate of the houses in the fans' hands almost equally as the Bannerlord is also a good way to reduce toxicity. I think that toxicity on this tournament could be extremely high because people are invested. So the best way, and is toxicity like a mercenary gets picked and people are like, that guy, he just sucks. He throws. And they're like, you cost us everything. It was your fault. To make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen, I want to try to diffuse the responsibility to be the games and the fans. Like if the fans have a coin flip and they vote for the wrong one, you're not mad at the coin flip. You're not mad at the player. I think you're mad at those stupid other fans that voted yes when you really thought that you should have voted no. But that's something you can live with. That's a way for me, I think, to diffuse responsibility a bit and make the tournament overall more positive. Because I would hate it if it would just turn it into this toxic cesspool where everyone was just mad at each other. So diffusion of responsibility and accountability is kind of the game, the psychology game of how to fix that, I think. So yes, fans need to be active when it comes to making decisions. Because if not, if it's just the Bannerlord making all the decisions, then I think they're going to get flamed if anything goes wrong. However, there is a lot of fun that we can have with Bannerlords. For example, it would be so funny to have like a House Lannister where they have no perks. They just start off with like triple the gold of everyone else. It'd be really funny to have like a tyrant who has people in his house, but he doesn't fucking listen to them. He just makes all of his own decisions. They can vote and he goes, wrong, and then he just does something else. This is fun, I think, and interesting. So, all right. Next. You should add some LARPers to fight. That's a good one. Any other questions? How many LARPers do you need? Okay, great. Would you consider special Warlock matches using something like 12v12 for the storyline? Yes, absolutely. That's kind of the point. We want to have Dota. Dota games matter the most. Straight up Dota games. But when it comes to small little things like where do we play on the next map, I think these fun little mini game things could be great. Yeah. Also, sponsor-wise, imagine if we got another game to sponsor us. Happened at TI. Honkai Star Rail sponsored. If I got another game to sponsor us, you want to watch Arteezy play Raid Shadow Legends? I don't know, man. We need money. We can figure this out. We can figure it out. We can make our sponsors happy, okay? Well, you can figure it out. Have you considered reaching out to any board game companies? This sounds like it has similar mechanics. I can't imagine they have a lot of money. Board game companies? I don't know about that. We'll see, though. Hoyoverse, though. No, I know. Not for money. For what, then? Collaboration? I don't need to collaborate. No, I'm kidding. Collaboration's great. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good idea. I'm thinking when it comes to the digital board, that's in a production video like 6 weeks from now, so don't worry about that. We'll get into that. The Game of Thrones board game. I'll go check that out then. Okay, cool. All right, any other questions? You guys good? Get oil sponsor money. Oh, yo. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching this blog. I had a great time. I hope you guys did too. Don't forget, if you have any comments, concerns, or suggestions, shoot them over to siractionslacks@gmail.com or simply leave a comment in the YouTube video. I will read all of them. Don't worry. I might not reply to all of them. But that will do it for week number 2. So, just in sum up, week 1 was the announcement. We have learned that a lot of different things from that announcement, and people thought, what was a good idea, what was a not good idea. Now we're moving on to the iteration of this week, which is figuring out the heart and soul of the tournament. Our core 3 things. Make fans as invested in the games as the player. Make sure to keep it fun, and make sure it works. The time is coming to get all those going. Next week, I believe it is time to start talking about talent. Who are we going to hire for the Bannerlords? Who are we thinking about for Mercenaries? How the hell are we going to get in contact with all these people? And how the hell are we going to convince them to play in the tournament? Because that is going to be a pain in my ass. And then after we're done with that, we'll see what happens the week after. So thank you for watching this weekly Midas Mode 3 dev vlog. Love you all, and talk to you soon.